Okay, let me give you guys a high school question which you can't do. So here you've got two taps. The first tap takes 3 hours to fill up this container. So it takes 3 hours on its own to fill up the container. The second tap takes 5 hours to fill up this container. So how long will it take for two taps running at the same time to fill up this container? Okay, so press pause and have a go. Okay, so to do this, well, before we do it, let me just give you an explanation on the relationship between volume, rate and time. So let's just imagine you've got a container of volume 8, because 2 times 2 times 2. Just imagine, it could be 8 centimeters cubed or it could be 8 meters cubed. It doesn't matter. Let's just say the volume is 8. Let's just say here the rate is 1. So when I say rate, you can imagine it as like the amount of volume per hour, let's say. So in 1 hour, this tap is able to provide a volume of water of 1, a volume of 1. So this rate here, let's just imagine, is faster, it's more. Every hour it will provide 2 volume of water. So here you've got 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then 1, 2, and then 1, 2 around the back. So the relationship here is that if you get the volume, if you get the whole volume, in our case the volume is 8, and then divided by the rate, so let's just say the rate is 1, so that means it would take 8 hours. It will give you time 8. So look, 1 hour it will fill up 1 cube, another hour fill up another hour it will fill up another. Well, it would take 8 hours to fill up this container. So let's look at the second tap. So if you get the volume, in our case the volume is 8, and then you divide it by the rate of 2 for this tap. I'm just basically showing you the relationship between all three. So hang on. So if you get the volume, which is 8, divided by the rate, and then you can see that it would take 4 hours, because look, 1 hour you're going to fill up two blocks, another hour you're going to fill up another 2 blocks, another hour you're going to fill up 2 blocks, another hour you're going to fill up so it would take 4 hours in total. So we know that this relationship works. And then if you look at this one here, by the way, from here you can times both sides by the rate. That will then give you this thing here. So let's check this relationship. If you get the time times the rate, so for example, if you're told that it takes 4 hours for tap 2 to fill up the container, so you know the time and you know the rate, then you can work out the volume. Look, get 4 times 2, that will give you a volume of 8. And then if you know the volume, and then you divide it by the time, so here the volume is 8, and then you divide it by, let's say it takes 4 hours to fill up this container, then if you get 8 divided by 4, if you get 8 divided by 4, it will give you the rate. The rate is 2. It will give you a rate of 2, meaning 2 blocks for every hour. The point is that there is a relationship between all of these. So let's go back to the original question. So the original question is well, here you've got a volume, here you've got a container. Let's just imagine this container has a volume of 100. Just imagine, it could be anything. As it turns out, it doesn't matter, which I will illustrate at the end of the video. But let's just imagine this container is 100. If you divide it by the time, then it will then give you the rate, because we've seen that volume divided by time, volume divided by time will give you the rate. Volume divided by time will give you the rate. So here the rate is 100 over 3. For the other tap it's 100 over 5. So this is the rate. So you can imagine the rate as being the amount of water coming into this container for every hour. So here you've got a rate, and here you've got another rate. But then the question says the combination of 2 taps. So if you want to know the amount of water coming into the container for the 1 hour, then add the 2 together. So the total rate would be this. Add the 2 together. So get this, add it to this. So that would then become, we'll get the 2 denominators to be the same. So times top and bottom here by 5, times top and bottom here by 3. So that would then be 500 over 15. This would be 300 over 15. So that would then give you 800 over 15. So you can imagine this number as being the amount of water coming into this container every hour. So now you know the volume is 100 because we imagined it to be 100. So hang on, going back to here, we remember this is the rate for the combination of the 2. So this is the rate. So let me just go back to this formula. Remember, we want to know the time. We want to know the time. So we have to use this formula here. Get volume divided by the rate. It will give you the time it takes. So hang on, remember this formula. Get the volume divided by the rate. It will give you the time. So get the volume, which is 100, divided by the rate, which is 800 over 15. That will then give you the time it takes to fill up the container. So now it's just you working this out. So let me just imagine this as being 100 divided by this number here, 800 over 15. So now to work this out, you leave the 100 alone. You leave the 100 alone, and then you times the reciprocal of the second, 15 over 800. So this thing here gets multiplied to the top, which would be, well, think about it. It would be 15 over 8. So this is our time. Time equals, so this is our time. Our time is 15 over 8. But when you come to do this, you don't need to imagine it to be 100. Let's start from scratch again. Let's just call it the volume here, V. So when you come to do this, probably call it V. So V over 3 is the rate, for the first tap, and then here V over 5 is the rate for the second tap. Let's call it rate 2, call it rate 1. So so that gives you the rate. The combination of the 2 would be you adding these 2 together. So that would be V over 3 plus V over 5. Get the 2 denominators to be the same. 5 times top and bottom here by 3. So that would then be 5V plus 3V over 15. So that would then be 8V over 15. So this is the rate for the combination of the 2. So remember, if you want to know the time, get the volume divided by the rate. So going back down here, if you get the volume, remember our volume is V. So if you get the volume divided by the rate of the combination of the 2, 8V over 15. So imagine this as being like a number. So this will then give us our time. So now tidy this up. Imagine as V divided by, so that's V divided by this number here, 8V over 15. Tidy this up. Leave this the same, times the reciprocal of the second. Leave this alone, times the reciprocal of the second, 8V. This V here gets multiplied to the top, so that would be 15V over 8V. It turns out that the volume doesn't really matter. The time is actually 15 over 8. So this is your final answer. Okay, hours. Okay.